Bleach is a very interesting topic as an anime fan, as it has a ton of discourse online with the way the animated adaptation handled this amazing piece of art by Tite Kubo, with the pacing issues, tons of filler, and other stuff that could be explained in a different video. This video isn't about the main anime, but the recent revival of Bleach with the final arc, the Thousand-Year Blood War, getting an animated version with Kubo watching and supervising to give the fans the best Bleach experience that he couldn't deliver with the manga because of Shonen Jump and his health problems, by giving us extra character screen time, extended fights, and other stuff that can make this perfect with the future cores that we'll be getting. Hopefully I'll have this video finished before Core 2 comes out, because if not, most of the issues I have with the first core might be fixed in the second one. So no more stalling, let's get this video started. When I first saw the trailer for the Thousand-Year Blood War anime adaptation, I remember when I was younger and was waiting for the newer Bleach updates on Netflix. Yes, I watched it on Netflix, which only had up to the bout arc, and went to Hulu to try to catch up on the ending, which I still never have. When October 10th came around, I have never been so excited for a Monday. Before I continue, there are massive spoilers for Core 1 of Thousand-Year Blood War and mentions of what happens in the manga. So if you haven't watched Thousand-Year Blood War or read the manga, then please pause this video and go do that. If you don't mind being spoiled or you waiting till the anime catch up with the manga, then let's get started. The first episode starts out by introducing us to these two new Soul Reapers going to Karakura Town to watch for hollows. They separate, which leads them to getting heavily wounded by the hollows that start to surround the building they're on. Lucky for them, the sub-Soul Reaper squad, consisting of Orihime, Chad, Uryu, and the GOAT himself Ichigo, use their most powerful attacks on normal hollows. I'm not joking. Chad uses La Morte that launches a row of hollows into another building. And I know the people in there are dead. And Ichigo uses Bankai and gets the potential on these normal hollows. I know it's been 10 years since we saw these characters, and they got him to use Bankai just for the fans because he never does this in the manga. But at least ease up on the Getsuka, man. You're gonna blind the people who just wanted to take a breath of fresh air. Anyways, we cut to Ichigo's room, where Orihime brings some leftovers, and the gang has some food. Then this guy just pulls out and puts his shoes on the bed. I swear the animators knew it was disrespectful, because my man didn't even get a full sentence out before Ichigo kicks him out the room, and then gets into his Soul Reaper outfit just to deal with him. We get a quick scene of some hooded figures that remind me of Naruto for some reason, that spawn into the head captain's office and tell him they'll invade the Soul Society and impale the first squad lieutenant. My man didn't even get a single ounce of screen time. I feel bad. We go back to Ichigo and the guy who put his shoes on the white sheets. I know he has a name, but he has not shown that he deserves it. And he thinks he can taunt Ichigo into using his Bankai. Bankai! Oh, I guess he can. Well, anyways, this guy tries to steal Ichigo's Bankai, but my man's signature move was too strong for him. Ichigo tries to figure out what's going on, but he dips, of course. Then we see your watch slice someone's arm off without even moving. He got that season 1 Byakuya presence, but soon we'll see how OP your watch can be. Alright, I know you want this video to just move on, I get it, but hear me out first. Pause the video and go to whatever music player you use, and please listen to the episode 1 special ending. Dude, Report made Core Memories come back. I love it so much, bro. I'm listening to it right now while I'm reading the script. That was just what happened to episode 1. I won't really spoil the other episodes because to really enjoy Thousand-Year Blood War is to go into it blind. Most of what happened is coming from my memory. Here's how your watch is too overpowered for the Soul Society. First, he drops Tall Walls, a spirit particles, I forgot what it's actually called, and the first Quincy just murders my man Izuru. Then every other Quincy starts to solo every squad they see. Then they legit steal the Bankai of Toshiro, Byakuya, Soifan, and Kamamura. Noit even solos Byakuya and leaves him to almost die on the wall. I don't know how he didn't die after all that, but Izuru was dead after losing most of the left side of his body, but okay. Now Yamamoto is pissed. He walks up to the guy who stole his lieutenant's Bankai, just stands through the Bankai like he doesn't even hurt, and just one-shots him. Then he launches himself at Yuwash, who is holding Kenpachi by the neck. We barely get to see Kenpachi fight, and uses instant transmission to grab Kenpachi away from Yuwash, then straight up brings out the sickest Bankai of all Bleach history. This fight goes crazy. You guys need to watch this fight because I have no words to explain it. But the fight doesn't go well for Yamamoto because the watch he was fighting was a fake. And the real Yawatch steals his Bankai and slices Yamamoto. Rest in peace. Dang, this ending goes hard. Too hard after my man's death. While this is happening, Ichigo is fighting another Quincy in Wako Mundo and tries to go to the Soul Society but get trapped in this jail because he is deemed a threat to Yawatch. Still, because Ichigo is Ichigo, he breaks out and one-shots the Quincy that was near the research place. He uses Sonido to go to Byakuya to hear his near-death speech, and he tells Ichigo to protect the Soul Society. Ichigo is pissed. He throws Tensa Zangetsu from his location to where Yawatch is, and his spiritual pressure turns red and goes through the roof. And they start fighting. Dang, that was quick. But it's longer than what was in the manga by a long shot. I wonder how the final battle would be because it feels like everyone was nerfed before besides Ichigo in that fight. We get the most shocking cliffhanger that hurt me more than reading the first arc of Chainsaw Man. Even rewatching this makes me jump in my seat at the cliffhanger until I remember the next episode is already out. We see most of the captains truly feeling hurt about the loss of Yamamoto, and I get them. My man was so muscular and he died without even getting true love. Man, rest in peace and hope. We learn that a Bankai can't be fixed as easily as a Shikai, and we meet Squad Zero, who are just overtowering the other captains. They take Ichigo, Rukia, Renji, Byakuya, and Tensa Zangetsu up to where they can get ready for the next battle. Ichigo and Renji get the plot convenient healing factor and get a head start in their training. But after fighting Yawatch, Ichigo lost his main character determination and gets kicked out of the Soul Society. While Ichigo and Renji were doing their thing, Sui was appointed the new head captain of the Soul Society, and his first order was for him to teach my boy Kenpachi Zanjutsu so he can get ready for the next Quincy attack. But then he learns that Unohana, the nicest person in Bleach by far, was the first Kenpachi, which I didn't even know was a rank for the coldest killer of the Soul Society. I thought Zaraki gave himself that name like he did with Zaraki because he was born in the Zaraki district. Anyways, Unohana shows up instead of Sui and has the coldest Bankai release. Even better than Yamamoto. And her and Zaraki start going ham on each other, with the background just being blood red to symbolize the intent to kill both of them half. Zaraki keeps getting killed and revived or something over and over again so he can stop holding himself back. Zaraki starts turning to half skeleton. I don't even know what's going on anymore. This anime adapted this fight perfectly in my opinion. I was so excited when I read this part for the first time because in my head I was imagining what this scene would look like animated and with voice acting, and they nailed it perfectly. That's tier fight, bro. Back in the world of the living, Ichigo gets picked up by his dad in his captain attire and starts to explain to him that Misaki was an OP Quincy but had to lose her powers because she got bitten by the Hollow White. Ishin also had to give up his Soul Reaper powers to save Misaki, but then they had Ichigo. He also explains that the reason Misaki died to Grand Fisher is because when she tried to use Blood Vein, I hope I'm saying that right, Yawatch took her Quincy abilities away to regain some of his own power because he is the father of the Quincy's, and all Quincy's have some of his blood in them. Ichigo, when hearing that, regains the determination he had lost before and goes back to the Soul Society to get his Asowochi because he's a true Soul Reaper now, and that he knows more about himself, and gets a new Zanpakuto and says goodbye to the Zangetsu we all know and love. Then we see Uryu join Yawatch's team, setting the stakes for the next invasion in Core 2 of the 1,000-Year Blood War. So, I just finished watching Bocchi the Rock, and I think it's a great anime and would recommend it to anyone interested in the slice of life / comedy genre. Bocchi the Rock is a 12-episode anime with no season 2 in sight, sadly, about the main character Hitori, or what everyone calls her, Bocchi, slowly getting over her social anxiety to get into a band, make new friends, get better at believing in herself, make lyrics, perform in front of strangers, which leads her into performing with her band at her school's festival. Bocchi as the main character is the best thing about this anime, as we see her character development the most, and her having social anxiety and slowly getting over her fears makes her relatable to most of the audience. For example, in episode 1, we see a younger Bocchi watching the news and hearing a member of a popular band say that even introverts can shine in a band, which leads Bocchi to want to learn the guitar so she can play at her school's culture festival.
人様の前で演奏できるように毎日6時間練習を続けた結果、いつの間にか中学終わってた。
3 years passed, and she never formed a band or played at her school festival. Now, she finds more comfort online, making YouTube videos in her closet. Who does that, am I right? She tries bringing her guitar to school, hoping anyone will talk to her, but that plan fails. While sitting in a park, a girl notices her guitar and drags Bocchi into joining her band because their guitars ran off and a concert is coming up. We get introduced to Nijika and Ryo, the only 2 members playing in the band. They take Bocchi to the studio to practice and see how Bocchi would do. Yeah, since Bocchi is so nervous and can't make eye contact, she rushes ahead of the other 2, making her not in rhythm with the rest. I know the struggle. As they try to get Bocchi out of the garbage can, Nijika tries to apologize for pushing her so hard about joining, but...
本当に嬉しかったんです。声かけられて。バンドはずっと組みたいと思ってたから。でも、メンバー集まらなくて。
This moment really hooked me into this anime. I love small character interactions where the characters display their emotions in this kind of way. This anime is full of those. Nijika reassures Bocchi by telling her that she shouldn't give up just because it didn't work out at that moment. Bocchi still wants to perform, but is too nervous to perform in front of strangers, until Ryo suggests that she should be in a box so she can't see them. Ryo is single-handedly the best character in this anime. She has a lot of good moments where she gives good advice, and her laid-back personality and seeing her constantly try to be lazy and skip out on tasks that she thinks are too much work always makes me smile every time. When Bocchi starts getting nervous again about performing, Nijika tells her that her skills shouldn't matter when the key is to have fun, because your true feelings come out when you're playing.
ミスりまくったー MC 滑ってたね。
Yeah, even though they didn't do that great, Bocchi declares that she wants to have enough confidence to say hello to her classmates before their next performance and goes home because she's had too much social interaction. Something I regret not talking about in my previous videos is my love for the many different animation details in Splatoon 3 and the beautiful animation style of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War. On the outside, Bocchi the Rock looks like just the average slice of life anime, but if you've been watching a lot of anime, as I have, don't believe in anime will stick to one style. The likes of Nishijo and Agretsuko have taught me to always appreciate different art styles in anime. Most of the animation changes happen when Bocchi freaks out or when she has these little imaginative sequences. These little bits add to the feeling that Bocchi feels when she spazzes out, or what's in every introvert's head when they're just chilling alone. Trust me, I know what that looks like. The performances also have good animation with great camera angles and music. Each band performance is like a point in the story to show how much Bocchi has grown after all this time. I mentioned this earlier, but the character interactions in this anime are really good, especially the moments when Bocchi is alone with one of the band members like Nijika talking about her wishes with the band, and Ryo giving Bocchi advice about writing her lyrics about what she thinks would fit for her and not anyone else. They give her encouraging advice and help her further develop connections with the band members, especially when she's with Ryo. Oh yeah, remember the runaway guitar player Nijika talked about? Well, this is Ikuyo, but I'll just call her by her last name, Kita, since it's easier to say. The reason she said she was a guitar player when she wasn't was because she was in love with Ryo and wanted to be in the same band as her. She shines a lot in this anime, literally and figuratively. She also gets Bocchi to teach her how to play the guitar, which is pretty nice and gives Bocchi another reason to grow. She does have a pretty good moment when she turns in the culture application sheet against Bocchi's will and apologizes for it. This moment shows how far Bocchi's come over this season. Being popular is Bocchi's main reason for staying in the band, but she also wants the band to stay together and stay friends, and that's not bad. The plot of Bocchi the Rock is super straightforward, and that's all I want in a slice of life anime. These 12 episodes are all part of the plot. Even when the bandmates aren't practicing and are just hanging out, they're still doing it for a reason, and Bocchi can grow from that experience. And that growth is shown in the last episode when the band performs at Bocchi's school festival. So the school festival is about to happen, and Bocchi is contemplating whether or not to fill out the form for the band to perform there. So Bocchi thinks about it all night and comes to a decision. She can't do it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to talk about her. This is Hiyori. She's a drunk guitar player who plays in the famous band Sick Hack. She met Bocchi when she passed out from dehydration while Bocchi was stressing out about having trouble selling her quota. And then they did a street performance together to help Bocchi get some fans and help sell her quota. She invites Kosoku Band to her band's performance for free. So now, Bocchi has agreed to perform at the festival. After they get something to eat, Kita apologizes to Bocchi, but Bocchi thanks Kita for submitting the form when she couldn't.
最初はどうしようって思ってたんですけど、今はちょっと楽しみっていうか、それも北さんが用紙を出してくれたからで、だから感謝してます。ありがとう。
So, it's the day of the school culture festival, and Bocchi's class is doing a maid cafe, and Bocchi's immediately missing. Her friends find her, of course, by thinking about where a slug would most likely be. They take detours before going back to Bocchi's class to get her to serve them food and do a little spell to make their food taste better.
ふわふわピュアピュアミラクルキュンオムライス美味しくなれ。パサついてる。あ、冷凍食品なので。
This anime cracks me up every time. Kita gives it a shot and makes the food delicious, and the other classmates have the rest of the group help out with the maid cafe. After that, they go to the studio to practice. Then comes the big day. So they do their performance, and in the middle of their second song, Bocchi starts having problems with her guitar. In the last episode, while the band was practicing, it was mentioned that Bocchi's guitar was pretty old and that she should get a new one before the one she's using breaks down. I guess that was good foreshadowing because Bocchi can't tune the E string right, then it rips off. Then she realizes that she can't play the B string because the peg broke. Don't lose hope yet because Kita shows how much Bocchi's coaching paid off by making up her own solo part so that Bocchi can grab one of the bottlenecks that Hiyori was drinking earlier and uses it to play her solo, which surprises everyone, including me. After the song, Kita tries to make Bocchi give a speech. Now, after all of this, do you think Bocchi has mustered up enough courage to speak in front of a crowd? Come on, this is Bocchi we're talking about. But I admit, that was pretty cool. Hey, now I came full circle. In episode 1, Bocchi wanted people to notice and talk to her. Now she's got that wish, and she regrets it. So, Bocchi tried apologizing to her dad because she broke his guitar, but her dad just says it's alright and that she should buy a new one. And when Bocchi tells him that she doesn't have enough money, he just pulls out the money needed. How does he have the money, you ask? Well, the family found out about Bocchi having an online channel, and since her dad was so proud of her, he decided to monetize it in secret. So at first, Bocchi was going to use her money to pay off the band's quotas and quit, but it's hard to quit your job when you have social anxiety. So the group just goes out to buy Bocchi's new guitar. Yeah, This anime was amazing. The animation and fun characters kept me engaged, and Bocchi's character development helped me feel more connected to her as the story went on, and everything else was pretty good. I'm slowly starting to see how it beat Chainsaw Man in Cells. Quick question, do you remember your first romance anime? If you do, what do you think of it now? Do you still love it, or did it worsen when you watched it again? Romance anime is not my cup of tea. Most tropes and 90% of romance anime make me skip them entirely. Nowadays, romance anime has started to move away from just being generic. Call of the Night, 100 Girlfriends, Out of a Relationship, Komi Can't Communicate, Kobo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, and many others are romance anime that I will recommend until the day I stop watching anime, which I doubt will ever happen. Another anime I can highly recommend is Toradora. It isn't a recent anime, but that doesn't mean it can't hook you in. This anime was my first dive into romance anime, and it's most likely the reason why I can't enjoy other types of romance anime. The way this anime uses character development, family problems, rejection, and letting yourself be left behind to let someone you care about be happy has never been done as well by any other romance anime I've ever watched. Other romance anime I've seen don't give me the same feeling that Toradora does. Call of the Night comes close, but that's a video for another day. Toradora is a 25 episode anime telling the story of Gother and Morgana trying to get with each other's best friends, Miyori Kushieda and Yusaku Kitamura. Ryuji Takasu has his faithful encounter with Taiga Aisaka on the first day of school after starting and fumbling, trying to talk to Kushieda. Ryuji makes a quick excuse that he must go to the bathroom, then bumps into Taiga because she's too short to see with the human eye, and gets socked in the jaw with an uppercut. Taiga is probably the star of this anime. She gets the most character development and the hardest hitting moments. She also receives the cutest moments in the anime, and you can't tell me that she didn't get multiple bodies after school before meeting Ryuji. The number of times she hits him, I'm surprised he hasn't been rushed to the hospital, especially after that uppercut, getting stabbed in the eyes, getting kicked on multiple occasions, and more. Taiga is at her best moments when she starts to care for Ryuji and others. Taiga is going straight into the S tier. Ryuji soon gets called by the teacher because he's the last one to complete his career plan. After that, he returns to the classroom to get his bag, when Taiga's spiritual pressure suddenly causes everything in the room to fly. She's so strong that it happened while she balled herself up in a storage cabinet. Ryuji tries to ignore the chaos that just ensued, but when he tries to grab his bag, the cat decides to get her next body. After Taiga embarrasses herself, Ryuji is left to clean up the classroom, but since he is the god of cleaning, he finishes quickly and goes straight home. Ryuji finds a love letter in his bag, not addressed to him, but to Kitamura. Whoever wrote this knows need to find someone better. Kitamura is alright, but Ryuji and other background characters are much better. The dude doesn't even do much in this anime besides his little arc where he gets rejected by the student council president, but it leads to the best fight in this anime. Anyway, the envelope was empty either way, and Taiga broke into his house for round 2 because she didn't get to finish him off earlier.
The envelope was empty!
It was empty?
Exactly. So there was nothing for me to read. Hell, you're actually lucky you didn't give it to Kitamura. He doesn't know how bad you messed up.
Taiga passes out from hunger, and Ryuji gives her some rice, and that's when Ryuji makes his fateful deal. He'll help Taiga out with getting with Kitamura, and in return, she'll help him get with Kushieda. But I'm surprised he doesn't have Dipper's 30-step plan for talking to her, but has a box full of other things he planned out for the far future. This moment is where Ryuji's fate is sealed, as the rest of the anime see both stumble around trying to get along with their respective crushes. Later in the anime, they try to introduce another girl who would try to have a love triangle with Ryuji, which later leads into a swimming competition with Taiga, leading to the slow sinking of a ship. Ryuji and Taiga try and fail to get Kitamura's attention and get Taiga some alone time with him. After getting hit with a basketball, crushing some cookies, and fighting the whole class, Taiga finally has enough courage to ask Kitamura out.
Kitamura, I like you!
Hi, Sokka. You're really something.
I see. It's okay. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. I think I understand how you feel now. It's alright. I'm sure the two of us will become great friends from now on.
I said I liked you, not that I want to be friends?
At this moment, Kitamura has now been placed in the C tier. Ryuji, being the A tier character that he is, tells Taiga that he will always be by her side and help her with Kinemura. After a few episodes of the duo trying to get the ships rolling with some brilliant comedy,
the dumb chihuahua really was taking a shower. And she was all boom and boing and BAM! He doesn't need to know that!
her class has a Christmas Eve party where Kushieda finds out about Taiga's true feelings about Ryuji with one of the saddest moments in this anime. I usually never cry when watching anime or media, but this made me think about life choices. Kushieda gives Ryuji a vague rejection, but he doesn't give up as he plans to tell her his feelings on a last-minute ski trip. On that particular ski trip, Taiga gets into a little accident that leaves her unconscious, which leaves Ryuji to rescue her. To make Taiga happy, he tells her that Kinemura saved her and gets him to pretend he did. The plan falls flat on his face because Ryuji forgot to tell Kushieda about it.
Hey, Taiga! Come on, look at me! No! What do you see? I'm Minori! I'm your best friend, isn't that right? You always said you loved me, so trust me on this! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! I trust you, Taiga. You keep going on and on and on about me, but I know you're not some weak little girl who'd give up and blame someone else for making you give up on the one thing you want! That's not it! All I wanted was for you to be happy!
This anime gets better with every rewatch, and the ending is even better, but I'm not spoiling it because it is at its best after watching every part of Toradora. Everything in the plot matters to the story, which makes the story so impactful. From the first day of school to the vacation episodes to when Ryuji and Taiga run away, all contribute to the story in the right ways. Ryuji and Taiga act like an old married couple from episode 1, but it takes a few episodes for Taiga to realize she likes Ryuji, and even longer for Ryuji to know it for himself. It's more like it drags out the romance, but the anime is more about the journey of the two realizing their true feelings for each other, so it makes sense for the romance to be dragged out. The anime wouldn't be as good if they got together in episode 3, and the rest was about relationship drama and or separating them for some stupid reason, like a giant misunderstanding. You guys do not know how much I hate misunderstandings that a simple conversation could fix, but now I must move on. Ryuji has a lot of growth in this anime, from being feared by everyone nearby and only having Kinemura believing that he's a nice person, to the whole class getting to know him and being kind to him. The same growth happens with Taiga, but with some details differing. Kinemura is an alright character. He starts out as a secondary main character, Ryuji's friend, and Taiga's love interest. Then he slowly starts being part of the main cast, introducing us to Ami, giving characters good advice, and trying his best. Even when he becomes the student council president, he keeps helping behind the scenes to get Ryuji and Taiga to tell each other their true feelings. I love Kushieda's character. She starts as this airhead anyone can fall for because she's overly cute and always smiles. But as she gets to know Ryuji more, she slowly shows her true self as a person who chooses her friend's feelings over her own. She's always liked Ryuji but pushes her feelings to make Taiga happy. She sings happy songs to hide her fear when she and Ryuji are trapped in a storage house. Ami hides her true self behind a mask that acts innocent and too lovely, but when she stops hiding behind it, she becomes a better character and vaguely gives Ryuji advice to figure out his feelings before someone gets hurt. The scene I mentioned earlier where Kushieda berates Taiga about being happy for herself and to stop putting aside her happiness for others was what happened because Ryuji kept trying to put Taiga with Kinemura and not figuring out his feelings. This moment also works for Kushieda because she's telling Taiga what she feels about herself. She doesn't want Taiga to think like her, to put others' happiness before her own, which is why I love this scene so much. I love how the animation shows emotion. This anime looks good in general, but when the emotional scenes come in, the animation gets better and better. There isn't that much action, but when it does happen, everything just flows nicely. The way that the anime shows Taiga and Ryuji's relationship is the best thing about this anime for me. Most people have a problem with it because they see the relationship as just Taiga always demanding things from Ryuji but offering little in return. Ryuji just accepts it and is the doormat to Taiga. Although I see where they're coming from, I disagree respectfully because even though Taiga is the biggest tsundere you will ever find in an anime, deep down, she's fragile and couldn't even take care of her apartment before Ryuji came along. Ryuji and Taiga understand each other, which makes their relationship work. When Ryuji hits the street lamp with Taiga and takes everything off their chest, they start to get closer together. When Taiga says they'll just be classmates from that moment forward, Ryuji realizes that something doesn't feel right without Taiga. So after she confesses, he states that he'll always be by her side. Their relationship is what brings Toradora together as a whole, and it's a relationship that is still in the minds of many fans, including myself. This is why I can wholeheartedly recommend Toradora to any anime watcher. If you don't like it, that's fine, but when you do like it, you will be looking at your screen disappointed that there isn't a second season in sight. Now let's return to that question I asked at the beginning of the video. What was your first romance anime? Do you still love it, or did something happen that made it change? Toradora always has my full attention when I rewatch it, and I recommend giving the dub a watch. The sub is pretty good, but the dub actors put tons of heart and soul into their performances. If you watch in a sub, I recommend a second watch in dub and vice versa. I give Toradora a 9 out of 10. The plot is straightforward and engaging. The problems the characters have feel natural, and you can always see why they would make an unavoidable decision from their point of view. Every main character has their moment to show their genuine emotions. Everything feels right, and the ending has a satisfying conclusion that makes you want more. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this. If you've gotten this far, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe and click on the bell icon so you wouldn't miss any new content from me. If you have any points you agree or disagree with, then leave a comment below about what you liked about this video and what I can improve for the future.
Diamonds on my crown, I'm on first place, this my old bitch. Boy was talking down, I had to tell the bro to hold this, just hold or